Hi everyone, this is Anita from Mindoro, and as you know, we just love the Procreate program. So today we're going to show you how we're able to take an old Chinese antique, which is a hexagon tray, and to be able to design a regular tray with it. And this is a great way to be able to use Procreate because you can import photos and you can kind of take other images and then change them into some way. And Procreate is actually a very easy program to use. So first of all, you need to do is you need to set up a new canvas. So we just set it up in the regular screen size. And then you need to import the photo. Here we have the photo ready. And we're going to import this photo here and then adjust it on the paper to make sure that it's what we want. And so we're just going to basically use this for the shape and for the other guides that we have. Now it's very important that you add a layer. You see, I've just added a layer here. You do not work on the photo layer. You need to add a layer like you would for Photoshop. And then once you add the layer there, which you can see that I have, then you can start tracing. And when you trace, then you can make it become like straight if you hold down the pen. I'm working with a thicker pen here just because I really like to see how I'm working and to be able to to see exactly if they're connected or other things like that, because it's very important when you're doing the clipping mask that it's all connected and that things are as straight as possible. So there we go now. And you can see this, and what we're going to do now is we're going to add a color. And you can see everything is secure, so we can add the color in. Then you have to add another layer on top of this. So it's very important, again, that you constantly layer. Because if you don't layer, you're going to have a problem. Your clipping mask and your colors will not work. So you must have the other layer. Then I usually like to go and I'll choose, again, I'll go here with my same bright red pencil just so I can see. And if you kind of hold down at the end of each of them, then you can allow it to straighten out and to move it and to adjust it as you need to be able to do that. So again, a few things to remember is layering is important and to be able to adjust this. Okay, so there we go now. So we're gonna adjust that other layer below a little bit because we feel like it's not quite right, so we can adjust that layer on it and we can move it if we need to be able to move it. So just so you know that you can adjust it layer by layer and you can move it layer by layer until you get it right, until you get it where it needs to be. So now we're going to have to see whether or not this other layer we did, if everything is joined or not, because if it's not joined, then you basically have a problem. You can't do the clipping mask on it, and that becomes a huge problem. So we're just going to adjust it a little bit more here. Sometimes it can be a little bit fussy. You can take a little bit of time to be able to really adjust it the way you need it to. And so we're going to pick a color, and we see it went into that layer there, but now we've got to go up to the other layer. And we need to pick a color there. And you see it's not closed. So it did not, you can see right there, in the edges are not completely closed. So we have a problem now. So we need to go back again for this layer to see if we can get it to be closed. And sometimes this can take a little bit of work and can be kind of a little bit difficult because it can actually take some time. This is maybe one of the more frustrating parts, and that's one reason why if you can read our blog that we have about the pencils or watch our video on which pencils to use, if you use the right pencils, it can help a bit more. So you can see how this is, even though they're closed up, that the lines are not really, deep lines. So this becomes a problem. So then really what it needs to do is we really need to start over again, and we need to make sure that we have everything that's working right so that we can make sure that we have a pencil that's working right. So I made the pencil larger here. So you can see how really which pencil you use and how thick the pencil is can really make a difference as to whether or not the clipping mask will work. So a project like this that could seem easy at one point can now become a little bit difficult. So again, you draw the lines and then you straighten them out. and allow them to straighten out again. Make sure that everything is connected, because if it's not, you've got a problem. You can adjust it as you need to be able to adjust it. And so then keep drawing around this edge here, and make sure that they are all completely adjusted, because if they're not, there will be again a problem and that it will not work. So this this can take some time to be able to really check this and to understand this. So we're going to go again now. We're going to add a color, and you see there the color worked. So what we need to do now is we need to switch that top layer to the bottom layer there, and so that we have the so that we can see that bottom layer. So you can move the layers around, which is really a great thing about it, about Procreate. Now we need to add another layer on top of this. And so we're going to decide which color we're going to use now. And we're going to add this other layer on top of that, because I want to be able to do like a gold leafing on top of this, that we can do it on the, which will be kind of on the top or the edge of the tray. So we need to use kind of a little bit of a thicker pencil here to make sure. We're going to go around the edge. It's going on top of that. But you can see how when you're using another color, it does make it easier to see exactly where you've drawn, what you've done, so that you know whether or not you are correct on this at all. And so you just follow the lines and straighten them out as you're going to be able to get this top layer. And that one did not quite work, so we're going to do it again. Sometimes you have to really redo things. If you need to redo things, just tap twice on to Procreate. It's not a problem. That's a great thing about it, especially you're working with layers. If you have a problem, you can just delete a layer, set a new layer. You don't need to worry about ruining everything because you had a problem with one of the layers. So that's really one of the things that I personally love about Procreate, is it's very easy to correct mistakes and to get the mistakes right. So here you go. You can see this is kind of a nice thick one there. And you can see there it is. Now we can move this all the way down. And there you go. You see, we have that layer here right now. So now the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be able to go in and now we're going to do clipping mask. And clipping mask means that you're going to basically import the photo that you want to clip on. And we want to clip on that bottom part of the tray, which is the first layer we did, which is now the top layer. And you need to straighten it out a little bit, make sure it's about how you need it to be. And then you can basically go to the right there to the clipping mask function and just press clipping mask. And you can see how it clipped in very nicely to the bottom part there. Okay, if it's not quite the way you want it, you can delete it. You can go back in, and this doesn't take long either. You can insert the photo again, and you can make sure that it's exactly right the way you want it to be. It doesn't hurt at all to play around with this a little bit. You can decide exactly where you need it to be, and then you can do it again and press clipping mask and see if that's exactly the way that you want it to be for the photo. Then you go to the next layer below it and you add a layer on top of that layer. And this one we're going to just do like a clipping mask for a color. So we do it the same way. You put the color, put the clipping mask, and there you've clipped the mask the color. And so, color, when you're clipping mask a color on it, you can work it exactly the same way as you would a photo, except obviously you're not importing the photo. Now I want to add some gold leaf, so I'm going to go here to some of my, you see I have lots of different albums here of different things, but I have some here which have some finishes in them. And I'm going to put that on top of exactly where I want that to be. And then again, I do clipping mask, and it only clips into the part that I wanted it. So this is kind of the easy way to be able to do it. And if you don't like the bottom layer, like I don't here now, then I can go back in and I can really decide Again, sometimes it really takes a few chances for me to really decide how I'm going to adjust it, how I want it to be, and then I can really, decide then on that. And then, decide if it's exactly the way I like it or I don't like it, if it's something that I need to change or something that I need to do different. So you can see here now our end result. I had to actually change and adjust a few things a couple of times, but that's sometimes what you need to do with Procreate. But Procreate really is a wonderful tool to use for designing any type of product. This is Anita Hummel from Mindoro, and thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our blog, and check out all the other information that we have on YouTube and our blog and our website, Mindoro.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any need for home decor products being manufactured in Asia, please do contact us. We'd love to hear from you.